Okay, this time we're going to create a more complex scenario. So I'll choose a location in the world, and I'm going to drop some platforms in here, and this time the platforms will come from our available libraries. Now these available libraries are just platforms that have been previously created using the methods that I've already shown you. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and drop in an ASR platform, just an existing radar platform. Put that at the airport, and I'm going to drop in a B1B. Now what makes these special is really that the flight parameters and names have been set up, and that's about it. I'm also going to add some, let's put in some missile defense, rest, straight flush. Alright, so these will be our players. I'll also add in a EA6B, and one more, how about a MiG? So I've dropped in a MiG. Now, some of these platforms already have emitters on them, and I'll show you that in just a second. Just set the locations here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is let me move up here a little bit. Now, this scenario is a little tight, but I think it'll work alright. Now, I'm going to move the B1B, and what we'll do is we'll have the B1B fly down this canyon undetected until it makes its turn and flies into Dinao. Okay, properties. I'm going to go to the B1B and see that the parameters for the B1B are already set. It's just because they were saved. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and it's got a 250 knot speed already and an altitude, so everything's pretty good there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and add some waypoints, and we'll just follow these waypoints down the road here. And there we go. And go ahead and edit the waypoint table so we can set up speed values, etc. Okay, so let's make sure that in this case I want to go just above the ground level, so we'll go 2,000 on these. And we'll have them pop up at the end. And in this case, we will go, let's put it at 250 knots, and then we'll speed up as we go along. 400 knots, 500. That ought to do it. Okay, and we do a quick check. Notice that all the waypoint types are airborne, so we're not actually on the ground, which we also know from our altitudes. Okay, that's all ready to go. So there's one platform. Now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and zoom in here and place these platforms a little more carefully, because now we're dealing with terrain. And as I've said before, you can see the elevation. So what I'll do is I'll move this air defense system right over here, and let's check the altitudes around it. You might not be able to see anybody from there, so I'm going to move him up to a location where it really has a good vantage point. And that ought to do it. And also, if you want to make sure that a platform is seen once you've actually have it placed in the right location, what you can do is go in here and say, well, I don't want them to actually be on the ground. I'll actually put them a little bit above the ground just to ensure visibility. That'll just get you started so that you're sure that he can actually be seen. You don't want to inadvertently put him down in a little crevasse or something. Okay, so that guy's there. This is mostly flat land, so I'll just leave these guys out here. They'll probably pick them up. Now, this air defense system. Notice that it already has a series of emitters on it. What I'm going to do is set up a time event for search. So I'll let it start searching right away. Actually, let's make it search at 30 seconds. Alright. And platforms of interest. I want it to track either the EA6B or the B1B. So this platform, this emitter will actually track this platform automatically based on the closest of these two friendly platforms to itself. And I have search, I have track. The track I'm going to set up as a range event. Now, a range event is just what it sounds like. It means that as the platform gets within a close distance, then it will switch to this particular mode, track, at, for example, 12 miles. So that will work correctly there. Now the track takes precedence over the time event. So if you have a time event and then a track event occurs, meaning that he's within a certain range, then the track event will override the time event. And when he leaves this 12-mile range, then he'll go back to the previous time event mode. Alright, so that's the lower emitter. Let me work on the upper emitter. Acquisition, and we'll have him come on. We'll make that. We also need to add the platform of interest to these guys. Right here. Platform of interest is added. Let's do a time event. Oh no, let's do a range event. Do a range event, and we'll add acquisition, and we'll add this. This is kind of a mini scenario, so just bear with me on this. We'll also add fire control at 10 miles, and an illuminator at 8 miles. Okay. That should do it. Alright. Right, so that emitter's all set up. Now, zoom out here. And for the MiG, I'm going to go ahead and add a waypoint. Just have him come in there. Set up his properties real quick. Jboard, time events, add search at 0. And his altitude is fine. Let's check his waypoints. Altitude's good. Speed's a little high. And he's all set to go. Spoon rest. Spoon rest. I'm just going to set the acquisition as a time event. Actually, no, I'll do that one also as a range event. Acquisition. And do him as 10 miles. Now, these events will also only take place if there's a possibility. The tracking will only take place if there's a possibility that the target can actually be tracked. That is, that there is a line of sight for him. It's 10 miles acquisition. That's good. And long track vehicle. Long track. We'll just put a time event in. 1. And that's good. Oh, forgot something. Let's go back here. And we'll need a platform of interest. We'll add both of those. You can add as many of the platform of interest as you like. I'll zoom back a little bit. And our EA6B, let's move him out. And check his properties. It's good. I'm going to go ahead and add a waypoint for him also. Alright. So now it's always easy to go ahead and check our scenario. And so now I'm actually playing the scenario, and all the platforms should be moving accordingly. The B1B is, these platforms are not moving, but they aren't meant to. The MiG is going on. The easiest way also to see what's actually happening in a scenario is to just show hide all range circles. So if you show all the range circles, you can see every emitter that's on. Right. So we're zoomed out there.